Okay. Let me drop it down just a little. All right, so when everyone's ready, I'll kind of get everyone into standing. Let me just adjust it a little bit. All right, so I'll have everyone stand. We'll kind of get into our warm-up, but as Andrew and I mentioned before, we're going to focus a little bit more on walking and gait today, but obviously in our more smaller area. But when everyone's ready, we'll start with a little bit of a warm-up. We didn't really do the warm-up last time because of the bed mobility, but like we've done before, we're going to start with our neck and our cervical spine. So we're just going to start nice and gentle doing our side-to-side head rotations. So like we've touched on before, I don't want you going into pain-free range. I want you going in and pushing into that stiffness range because that's kind of your end range. But if you have pain, you want to back off from the pain. And we're holding for a couple seconds each direction. So you go over to, I'm going to my right, I'm holding 1, 2, 3, and I slowly go to my left and holding 1, 2, 3. And then I go back to the right and I hold 1, 2, 3, and I go back to the left. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to go about 10 times each direction. And then we'll move on to our side bending. But again, nice and gentle. We're just trying to loosen up that spine with rotation. You know, like we've touched on before, rotation is important when walking. You got to look over your shoulder if you're outside, turn and look at a sign, someone calls your name, or if you drive, you got to be able to turn and look over your shoulder again. So definitely functional to have range of motion at the neck, and definitely can get a little stiffer over time with age-related changes. All right, so now staying at the spine, we're going to go to our side bend. So ideally with the side bend, you're looking straight ahead, and while I'm looking straight ahead, I try to bring my ear down towards my shoulder. So this is my right side, my right ear, I'm trying to bring down towards my right shoulder. Obviously, you're not going to get it all the way down there, but I'm looking straight ahead. You don't want to rotate with this. So you look straight ahead, ear down to the shoulder, and ideally with this, we're holding for a bit longer, and we're looking to feel a gentle pull on the opposite upper trap, neck, shoulder region. You may feel some have a little discomfort on the same side here. If so, just back off a little bit. Again, this should be pain-free range, but you do want to feel a stretch on the opposite shoulder, and we're holding for a little bit longer than the 3 seconds. We're almost going for 30 seconds here to try to stretch out this upper trap. Now this goes into posture a little bit, but posture is important with walking. We want to make sure our shoulders are back. All right, and now you look straight ahead, and now I'm looking straight ahead. I'm going and bringing my left ear down towards my left shoulder, but I'm still looking straight ahead. I am not, don't rotate like this. You're looking straight ahead, and you want to feel that gentle pulling stretch on the opposite side. And just like with rotation, you want to avoid any pain. So this is pain-free, but you should feel some resistance on that opposite shoulder. And another thing to look out for, I didn't mention it before, you want to make sure that your shoulder's not coming up with you. So you can see I'm kind of holding my hands behind my back to kind of make sure I'm locking the shoulder down. So I'm going to switch sides now. So I lock my shoulders down first, and then I bring my right ear down towards my right shoulder, because you want to make sure you're not leaning over like this. The body always finds a way to compensate. So we're trying to isolate this upper trap here as we warm up. And again, I'm holding for probably close to 30 seconds. And then we'll do one more time, our left ear down towards our left shoulder. And again, you should feel the stretch on the opposite neck region. The upper trap muscle goes from the spine, your vertebrae here, and the back of your head, all the way down to the top of the shoulder. But you know, you really should be feeling it more in the actual muscle belly, right in the middle. Again, pain-free, gentle stretch with this, looking straight ahead, not rotating and not lifting up your shoulder. All right, so now we'll go, as we work our way down, we'll go into our shoulder rolls. So we'll start by going back, so pinching the shoulder blades together, then up, then forward. So we're rolling forward. So I'm going back, up, forward, all right? And I'm just doing the shoulders, just the shoulder rolls. Back, shoulder blades pinch together, up, forward, okay? And once you get that pattern, we're just going to go for about 10 of these. So you go at your own pace, you count your own, but we're going for about 10, all right? So again, I'll slow it down. I'm going pinching, then up, then forward, and I'm rolling my shoulders forward. All right, we'll do a couple more, and then we're going to go backwards. Okay, so now we're going to start forward, and then up, and then down and back. Now I'm rolling my shoulders backwards. I'll loosen up these upper traps, get them moving a little bit. Get the blood flow there, loosen everything up, and practice pinching our shoulder blades together. Again, we touch a lot of overflow from class to class talking about posture, but it's so important to maintain proper walking mechanics. Couple more backwards shoulder rolls, and then we're getting to our arm circles. All right, so now the arm circles. We'll start with backwards arm circles. Nice and big as you can get. Again, like we've touched on before, if you have any rotator cuff injuries or shoulder pain, then just stay low. Stay in a pain-free range, all right? But you want to get as big as you can get without pain. You might have some discomfort up in the shoulders, feeling those deltoid big shoulder muscles working, but ideally, pain-free range. So if you need to stay low, stay down here. If you can get big, get as big as you can. And we're just doing big shoulder roll. Well, shoulder circles, I should say, arm circles. And we're going backwards. We're going to reverse directions here in a couple seconds. Do a couple more going backwards, and now I'm reversing. So now I'm coming forward. I have a swimming stroke here. And again, you might feel those shoulders burning a little bit, but we're looking to avoid any sharp pain up in the shoulder joint. All right, so if you need to stay low, but big as you can. All right, so now we'll kind of shake that off. And now we're going to get into rotation, all right? So I'm just kind of rotating side to side with my arms. My arms are big out to my side. You can even pivot a little bit at that back foot as you rotate. But my whole body is kind of turning. I'm turning my head with my body, almost looking behind me as far as we can. And you go, slow and controlled, but we're really trying to rotate, get that spine rotation. Like we've touched on before with bed mobility, the spine is important for, rolling in bed, and also important for walking because our spine has to rotate when we walk because we walk with our opposite leg, opposite arm. So we are just rotating side to side. Your head should be going with you, and you should be looking over and behind you. Do a couple more of these. You can see I'm kind of pivoting my back foot, almost like some sort of golf or modified baseball swing here. Couple more. All right, now we'll go down to the legs. We'll just do a little bit with the legs because we'll be more involved here in a second, but let's just start nice and easy, just, backwards tapping like we've done a bunch of before. We're just tapping backwards, focused on squeezing, and I'll show you from the side, activating those glutes here. And I'm just squeezing the glutes as I kick backwards. And like we've done before, you can get your arms involved, opposite arm, opposite leg, as we warm up, like we've done a bunch in the past as we focus on extension. So standing tall, head is up, chest is up. Do a couple more. All right, and now we'll just do a couple little side taps. We'll do more sideways stepping as we get started here, but just to kind of get the blood flowing to the legs. All right, so we'll do, probably around 10. And we are focused on speed, once you have the pattern down, as we're always focused on speed. All right, so First thing we'll focus on, like we've touched on before, we'll focus more on walking today, but more in somewhat of a square. So like we've done this one week 5, but we're going to start with some agility stepping, meaning I'm going forward and backwards as I step. So I'll demonstrate first, and then we're going to go for 30 seconds. But I'm taking 1 step forward and 1 step backwards, but I'm leading with my right leg only. So my right leg goes forward, then my right leg goes backwards. Right leg forward, right leg backwards. But I'm focused on keeping my chest up, my head up, and I'm taking a big step. But my right leg is the one leading. And I'm almost trying to picture, I have a line here, but you almost want to picture like you're stepping over something. And as you get going here, so we're going 30 seconds. I'll time us. Go longer if you want. I'll go for a minute, but you go from anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds, quick as you can, chest and head up, all right? So I'm going here, and I'm going forward and backwards, 30 to 60 seconds. You do whatever you feel you can. Chest up, head up, and I'm stepping forward and backwards, quick as I can, with my right leg leading, okay? Again, if you have a chair you need to hold on to for support, hold on to the chair. And have the chair right next to you, and you can go forward and backwards, all right? So it's 30 seconds right there. So if you need to break and rest, rest. If not, keep going. So I want to make sure everyone feels like they're getting a little out of breath. And then we're going to rest and then go with the left leg, okay? But I'm leading with my right leg, chest, head up, big step, and you're focused on speed, like a little agility drill here. If you need the chair, use the chair. If not, going for speed. All right, so 1 minute right there. Take a quick breather. You need to sit and rest, but then what we'll do is we'll do the exact same thing, leading with the left leg. I'm going to drop this just a little bit. All right, so now we're going with the left leg. All right, so I'll just demonstrate again. Left leg forward, left leg back. Left leg forward. So same exact thing. We're leading with the left leg. All right, I'm going to time us 30 seconds, but I'm going to go for a full minute. All right, so you go anywhere in between 30 to 60 seconds. You do what you can. And again, chest up, head up. I'm looking above where I normally look. So you're almost trying to look above the screen you're looking at, and you're going for speed. All right. And I have a line here, but whatever you need to just force yourself to take a little bit bigger of a step than you normally take. And almost trying to land on that heel coming forward too. I land with the heel coming forward, then I step back and land on my toe. So that's been 35 seconds there. I'll go a little longer if people want to go longer, but whatever you feel you can do it. If you need to rest early, rest early. But, you know, there's a little bit of the interval training we've done before, but we're focused more on the posture and the size of the step. All right, so that's 1 minute there. Take a quick breather, and then we'll focus on now sideways stepping. I'm going to move my chair a little bit. So for the sideways steps, I'm going to start, it depends how much room you have, okay? So I have room here where I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 steps side to side. If you have less room than that, then just go 1, 2, or even 1 side to side, because you could do 1, 1, 1, 1, all right? But I'm going to start down this end. Well, I'll just demonstrate one more time where I'm going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A big step, again, posture, where you keep talking about head and chest up, and I'm going side to side. And once you have the pattern, then you're going for speed, okay? So I'll start the clock. Again, I'll go for a minute, but you go anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds, okay? So we're going side to side 3 steps, or however much room you have. Might be less than that. And, you know, to make it harder to progress, I take my steps, my opposite hip and leg come up. So we've done this one in the past. I'm going right, I drive my left leg up. So this would be a progression. So if you feel comfortable doing that, this is a progression. If not, just do the sideways steps. And if you need the chair to hold on to, have the chair to hold on to, all right? But I'm just showing the progression. So that's 30 seconds there. you need a breather, take a breather. If not, I'll go for a full minute. So you can either just do the sideways steps like this, or you can drive up that opposite leg. So I'm going left, my right hip and knee drive up. And again, big steps, but also focus on speed. All right, let's take a breather. Take a quick rest. And then what we'll do one more set of the same thing, all right? So we're gonna rest for 20 seconds in standing. If you need a longer break, take a longer break. If you need to sit and rest, sit and rest. But you know, if you feel more comfortable with the chair, you can kind of just take a couple steps side to side with the chair. All right? So, spend 20 seconds. We're going to do another set. Again, self-paced. You go anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds, okay? So I'm going to start the clock here. We're going 30, 60 seconds, taking the sideways steps again. So you can do one of two ways. Either just do the sideways steps, or you do the alternating knees. So when everyone's ready, we'll get going with this one. And you can drive up that opposite leg. And if you need a breather, take one. If not, we'll get back into it. And if you need the chair to hold on to, hold the chair to hold on to. But again, focus on keeping that chest up. Focus on the big steps. And then if you got both of those down, focus on the speed. All right, so that's actually 40 seconds. If you need a breather, take one. Almost there, 5 more seconds till we get to a minute. If you need a breather, take one early. If you need a chair, use a chair. All right. So take a quick breather. We'll rest for 20 seconds. And I'll demonstrate the next thing we're going to focus on. So we'll slow it down just a little bit here. So everyone's kind of in active recovery. But what we're going to do next is pivot turns and pivot turns with a squat. So what I mean by that is I'm turning left, but what I'm focused on is taking big steps to my left. So I go 1, 2, 90-degree turn. Then I'm turning back, 1, 2. Now I'm going right, 1, 2. So you try to, I'm counting 1, 2. You can even say it out loud because I want you to focus on turning in 1, 2 steps. 1 step on each foot, okay? So we're doing a turn, we're doing a turn, we're doing a turn. So I want everyone to practice turning, and then we'll go to the squat, all right? So just practice a couple times, turning left in 2 steps, turning back to the middle with 2 steps, turning right with 2 steps. And you're gonna go 90-degree turns each way, all right? But really focus on taking those nice big steps, even if you need to count out loud. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so practice that a couple more times, and then we'll progress. So I'll demonstrate what we're going to do is you're going to squat down, then come up, then turn, and then squat down. Now the focus is when you turn, keep your feet wide. When we squat, you want to keep your feet wide. So you squat, I'm up, I turn, I squat, I'm up. We're not going deep, all right? This is just a small partial squat. If you need the chair, you know, you would hold on to the chair, squat, turn, squat, turn. All right? But if not, we'll squat first, we'll come up, we'll turn, we'll squat, we'll come up, we'll turn, we'll squat, we'll come up. All right? So when everyone's ready, if you've already started, keep going. But I'm going to start right now, all right? So I'm going 4 times each direction. So I'm squatting, I'm up, turn left, squat, up, back to the middle, squat, up. Now I'm going right, squat, up. So that's 1. And again, big steps with those turns. All right, big steps with those turns. Big steps with those turns. All right, so I step, 2 steps, chest is up the whole time, even when I squat. All right, it's up the whole time. Now I'm coming back to the middle. Now I'm going right. But big steps, feet are apart. Chest is up. Do a couple more just to give everyone enough time to make sure they've had at least, 3 or 4 turns each direction. But the key is 1, 2, squat, up, all the way up, squeeze the bottom. 1, 2, squat, up. All right, give everyone a little bit of time to rest or finish up with that. And then we're gonna go into, we'll progress a little bit into multi-directional lunges that we touched on this same class last time. So while everyone's resting, I'll demonstrate the multi-directional lunge, and then we'll practice, all right? So we'll only focus on the left leg. It may be mirrored, so you might be seeing my right leg, but my left leg, I'm taking a step forward. I'm doing a partial lunge, meaning both knees kind of bend, and then my left leg is coming back to my standing position. If you need a chair, definitely have a chair next to you, all right? Now my left leg is going left. I lean into my left leg, my knee's bending, and then I come back to the beginning, and now my left leg is going backwards. I come down. Now most of my weight is through my right leg, and then I'm back to center. So you can see from the side, okay? So first, only focus on the left leg. I take a step back, I drop down, have the chair if you need it, and then I'm up. I come left, lunge, back to the middle, and then I did a little out of order, then it'd be forward and back, all right? So let's try to do 3 to 4 in each direction, all right? So I'm gonna give everyone some time to practice this. Again, I'll kind of lead it, but you do whatever pace you need to. Focus on the left leg. I'm coming forward. I lunge down, and then I'm back to the middle, all right? So if everyone when it gets going, I lunge left, back to the middle. I step back, lunge down, back to the middle. So that'd be 1 in each direction. We want to do 3 to 4. Forward, lunge, and back. And again, don't feel like you have to go as deep as I'm going. You can just do a little partial one, because sometimes this can create some knee pain. But the biggest thing is when you are lunging, you don't want this knee to go past the front of your foot, all right? You should still be able to see your toes in front of your foot or knee. All right, so that's about 3. I'm gonna do 1 more each direction, make sure everyone's had enough. And then we'll do the right side. Okay, so I'll quickly demonstrate on the right. We're going to do the same thing, but now my right leg comes forward, drop down, my right leg goes to the right, lunge over, then my right leg goes back, and I come down. If you feel pretty good with it, feel like you're good to go. If not, you can follow me, trying to do 3 to 4 in each direction. So I'm going forward and back, and if everyone's ready to go, get started. I'm going to the right, and I'm going back. So that was 1 in each direction. I'll do 4, but try to get in at least 3 to 4. Forward, right, and back. So we're focused on really a little bit of the quad strength, glute strength, but also taking that big step and the chest is up. If you need the chair, you can even have the chair in front of you or just off to the side. So that's forward, right, and back. All right, so forward, right. Not gonna hold onto the chair there, it's a little out of my reach, and back. All right, so I'll give everyone a second to finish that one up. And then we're gonna get going with a little bit more walking. Get some water if you need it, take a quick breather if you need it, but I'll demonstrate and talk about the next activity we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start down at this end, and it depends how much room you have available. You might just have a couple steps, but what I'm focused on, I'm walking forward, heel to toe, big steps. I want to make sure I'm on camera. And then I'm stepping backwards. Big steps. Well, I have room for 3 or 4 steps. You might just take 1 forward and 1 back. But do what you can, all right? So I'm taking big step. I'm over-exaggerating how big of a step I need. It's as big as possible. So when I go forward, I'm landing on my heels. When I go backwards, I'm landing on my toes. So when everyone's ready, I'll get going. We'll do, maybe 4 or 5 laps forward and back. But again, depending on your room. So I'm going forward, big steps landing on my heel. Backwards, big steps landing on my toe. All right, chest and head are up. Big as possible, big as you feel comfortable. But I'm taking these large, over-exaggerated steps. All right, I'll do a couple more front and back so everyone has enough time and get through it. All right, big steps, big, landing on the heel. Chest and head are up, landing on the toe, coming back. Going 1 more. All right, so now what we'll practice, give everyone a couple seconds to finish that up, is now it's going to be walking forward, pivoting, and coming back. So we're kind of putting together what we did before when we were stationary, and now we're putting it together with movement. So you're taking the big steps forward. You can stop if you feel more comfortable before you go into the pivot. And then big steps, make sure I'm on camera, and pivot. I'm trying to take the pivot in as few of steps as possible. And right now I'm kind of breaking down, so right now I'm pausing and then turning. But if you feel more comfortable, you can just take the big steps and then go right into the pivot to smooth it out. But if you want to just start big steps and then pivot, so big steps. And like I said, when I pivot, I'm trying to pivot in as few steps as possible because we're focused on big steps, all right? So big steps land on the heel, and then I go into the turn. Big steps, and then I go into the turn. But again, speed and size of step is dependent on how comfortable you are stability-wise, all right? But, turning, it's so important. You got to do in the kitchen, bathroom, kind of off camera here. But we just want, and that's when falls can occur, because when we turn, you can't really use your vision as much. You got to utilize your other balance systems. So that's why sometimes people, and also with Parkinson's disease, as some of you know, with freezing, you can kind of get stuck with the turn. So sometimes people will, when they go into the turn, you count steps. 1, 2, 3. So sometimes counting can help, or looking up can help. All right, so a couple more times. I want to make sure everyone had enough time to practice these pivots. And again, if you feel more comfortable, it'd be picking up the speed of the turn or doing less steps. If you don't feel as comfortable on your feet, then slow it down a little, okay? So that's kind of focused on change of direction. So I hope everyone's had enough time to practice that. Again, some of this will be on the homework that I'll review at the end. Okay, next thing. Similar to what we just did, but we're adding another layer, all right? So to make it a little more functional, we're going to walk, then squat. So we're walking forward and backwards, but we're adding squats in, like if you had to pick something up off the ground. So I'm taking 1, 2 steps, then I'm squatting down as if I'm going to pick something up off the ground. You don't feel like you have to reach all the way down, but I just want you to squat down a little and then take steps backwards and squat. So it depends how much room you have, but I'm going 3 steps forward and squatting. You might only have enough room to do 2. All right, so again, big steps, heel to toe. So 1, 2, 3, and then I'm squatting. And when I squat, my spine is straight. I am bending at the hips, all right? My hips are hinges. And then after I squat, then I take steps backwards. I'll demonstrate one more time. I didn't squat there, but I'm going 3 steps forward. 1, 2, 3. Squat. 3 steps back. 1, 2, 3. Squat. When you squat, feet are apart. All right, so when everyone's ready, let's do some bouts forward and backwards, trying to do 4 to 5 bouts. I'll start, you just go at your own pace, all right? So I'm going 3 steps out, squat, 3 steps back, squat. 3 steps forward, big steps, landing on the heel, squat, 3 steps back, squat. 3 steps forward, squat, 3 steps backwards, squat. 3 steps forward, squat, 3 steps backwards, squat. 3 steps forward, squat, 3 steps backwards, squat. One more time, forward and back. And you notice when I go down, I come all the way up tall, okay? So take a quick breather, get water if you need it. I'm going to take a quick sip of water here. And then we're going to do what we did before with the pivot, where I walk forward, I squat, I turn around, I come back, squat, turn around, go back, all right? So it's similar to what we did before. We're just mixing in the added layer of squatting down, just as a more functional activity. Sit down and rest if you need it. I'll give everyone a couple seconds here. I'll demonstrate, and then, you know, take a longer break if you need it, or start when you want. So just as a demonstration, big steps forward, squat, I come all the way up, I pivot, then I go back, big steps, squat, pivot. All right? So get started when you want. But again, 4 to 5 bouts. Big steps forward, I'm squatting, I turn. Again, trying to turn in as few steps as possible. So going forward, squat, I'm up, I pivot, big steps forward, I squat, I turn, and I go back, all right? So go at your own pace, but focus on those big steps and getting tall after that squat. And that pivot, focus on the big steps. So a lot of changing direction, but that's when falls can occur with that change of direction, especially if you freeze. So that's why focus on counting, or really focus on taking those big steps. And again, pause if you need to before you turn. I'll just do one more down and back after this one, just to give everyone enough time. But a lot of squats, a lot of big steps today. And then we'll get into a little bit on way off camera. We'll get into a little bit of obstacles from here. All right. So again, take a breather if you need it. I'm going to set up the next thing here, which will be, I hope everyone was able to bring a shoe box or something. If not, we can modify a little bit. But, you know, if you have a shoe box, put it however high you feel comfortable going. You can have it all the way flat or up on its side. You really just need an object, because what we're going to start with is toe tapping a target. You know, if it is, you have a chair near you if you need it for stability. But if you have any sort of elevated object, I hope you saw that in the email, to have it. But you know, it is, if you are using a shoe box or a cardboard box, just be careful. You're not putting a ton of weight through this. The goal is focused on light taps, meaning you have to have pretty good stability, because you're pretty much it's a modified single leg stance for a short period of time. So while I'm doing this, yeah, you're most likely gonna have to use vision to look down, but we're not hunched over like this. You're trying to keep your chest and your head up and just kind of peeking down. Have the chair next to you to hold on, but we are just tapping. We will progress by stepping over. That'll be the next step, to step over the box. But for right now, let's just practice tapping nice and light with your toe. If that's too high for you, just drop your box down so it's more horizontal and tap. If you feel the progression would be higher, and then the progression would be not even to hold on to anything. So we are just lightly tapping that shoebox. You have to, again, good control to lightly tap. So when you're ready, if you already started, keep going. We'll go again, ideally for 30 seconds. So when you're ready, we'll just be tapping the box, all right? You can go longer if you want. And then the progression would be, you know, you're trying almost to hold the toe up there. 1, 2, 3, back down, up, 1, 2, 3, back down. That's a progression. Really, the quicker it is, sometimes there's less control. So we're just tapping nice and light, 30 seconds. If you don't have a box or anything, you can practice just kind of tapping your heels forward on the ground if you don't have a box or anything. But for those who are able to bring a shoebox, we're tapping. All right? So it's been well over 30 seconds there. Take a couple more seconds to finish up with that. And then we're going to go on to a little more obstacle negotiation, stepping over, well, usually call it a hurdle, but now it's the box. Start with it flat. And then we're going to be, you know, you'll start a little bit away from it, and then you're taking steps and trying to step directly over the box with both feet. So you want to try to go big and tall. Both feet go over. So commonly what some people will do, you'll know, swing the leg out to the side. It's usually a sign that they don't feel comfortable having that stability through that leg in order to get over. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can have a chair next to you. If you still don't feel comfortable doing it, then just keep doing the toe taps, all right? But for those that feel more comfortable, we're trying to step directly over the box, turning around, coming back, going directly over the box, okay? If you have more room, or for later on, you can have multiple boxes. You can change the height of the boxes as a progression. So then you're just stepping over each one, all right? And then progression would be step over step, really. But if you feel less comfortable, you can land in between each one. But if you only have the one shoebox, then just step over the one, all right? Just trying to figure out different ways to negotiate obstacles in the outside world, big, stick on the sidewalk, curb negotiation, that sort of thing. I just want to show one more progression for people to give people ideas, but what you can do is you can then tap the box and then step over the box. So this would be more advanced for people who feel more comfortable doing it. So it's a tap and then step. So it's really whatever foot I tap with, that's the foot I'm leading with going over. All right? Again, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, just do the step overs. If you don't feel comfortable doing the step overs, just do the toe taps. But the progression would be from toe taps to step overs, and then from step overs to a toe tap, followed by a step over. All right? Again, have a chair near that area if you need it. All right, I've gone on a little long with this one, but I just wanted to give everyone time to kind of work through the progressions here. Other progressions would be you hold a cup of water where you're trying to do 2 tasks at once, or you're doing simple math while you're doing it. All right, so just giving some people some different ideas with obstacles. All right. Now we'll kind of work back to some stuff that we've done before. I'm just going to grab this metronome here so I have it. But we're just going to go back to 30 seconds of high knees, fast and high as you can. So we've done these every session. We've done the high knees. We've done the mountain climbers. We're going to try to mix it up a little bit with maybe a metronome. But we're just warming up 30 seconds, high knees. So when everyone's ready, I'll go longer than 30 seconds. But you're driving your knees up as high and fast as you can for 30 seconds, okay? So I'm going to go for a little longer. Again, you can do the full mountain climber if you want, getting the opposite arm, opposite leg involved if you want. But I'll go for a minute, or maybe 45. I'll go somewhere further than 30 if you feel like you want a little more. But again, speed. All right? And I'll show some other progressions here. So another progression, if you want, is you're marching, but you're turning your head left and right while you march. So if you don't feel comfortable doing it, have a chair near you and just do the legs. But if you want, you can do the marching while turning the head. So now you're having to focus on doing two things at once, and vision is a little bit impaired while the head is in motion. All right, so it's been a minute there. Take a breather if you need it, but those are a couple progressions there. All right, so I'll just so you can try it on your own. It's just simple marching, and then from there the progression is you can either do opposite arm, opposite leg, the mountain climbers, or the new progression would be marching with head turns. All right, we're going to go for another 30 seconds. But another thing you can do that'll be on the homework that we've done before is you try to do it to a metronome. So there are metronome apps out there you can get on your phone. If you just go to Google and search metronome, they have one. The beats per minute is dependent on the person. So obviously the higher the number is beats per minute, the higher the frequency, the faster it is. So this is 80. You might be able to go faster, maybe too fast for some people, but I'm going to put it up to the mic here. Hopefully everyone can hear that. And then you're trying to just match your marching to it. It's hard for me to talk and keep the beat at the same time because that's kind of a dual task, which is good practice, but so I'm a little off. Hold on. There you go. So every time it beeps, you drive that knee up. And again, it may be hard to keep that beat. You might have to customize it on your own. But the beat should be a little faster than what you feel comfortable doing. So let's give everyone a little more time here. But every time that beeps, my foot is either hitting the ground on one side or it's coming up on the other side. So wherever you need to focus on. But that's one way to dual task. On the homework, Andrew talks about walking with the metronome, a way to kind of pace yourself. All right, so we have a little bit more time before we do some stretching. I want to do a couple more walking, and then we'll do some explosive toe raises. So one more walking activity, kind of as we talked about variability of walking, meaning sometimes you have to change direction and go around something in the outside world. So for this one, we did it before where we are going 2 steps wide around a puddle and then 2 steps narrow, like between two. And then you're going wide and narrow. Depends how much room you have, but I'll show you straight on here. So I'm going wide steps, and then I'm going as narrow as I can. You may not be able to get heel to toe, but you get as close as you feel comfortable. And it depends how much room you have. But at least try to go 1 step wide, 1 step narrow. 1 step wide, 1 step, or a couple steps narrow, okay? So we're trying to go around a puddle, then between a puddle. Around a puddle, and then between 2 puddles. So just trying to have the ability to change our walking if needed, okay? I'll do a couple more down and back. So I'm going wide, and I go more narrow, wide, narrow. All right? So wide steps, narrow steps. Wide steps, narrow steps. If that feels pretty easy, and you can just practice like walking a line, like walking heel to toe is another idea. So if you're able to go wide to narrow, then let's see if you can just go walking heel to toe. If you can't go heel to toe, then just continue on with the wide, and then as narrow as you can, wide, and then as narrow as you can. All right? So I'll do it one more time. Narrow, wide. So it's just having the ability to change our walking if needed. All right. So I want to go over, we haven't done this one in a while, but this would be the toe raises. We've done a bunch in the past. So the focus on the toe raises is you get as high as you can, and then you go for speed. Like I'm exploding up, I'm exploding up. Really got to get these gastrocs firing. Those calf muscles are the ones that explode us forward when walking. If you need a chair to hold on to, hold on to. All right, so this is one way of doing it. When everyone's ready, you want to try to go 30 seconds as quick as you can. All right? So I'll time us 30 seconds. I'll let you know when it's been. I started the clock, and you're just going up and down trying to get that burning in the calf. So I'll go over the progression here in a second. So keep going, keep going. So the progression would be trying to do a little bit of a hop. So I'll get to that in a second. All right, so take a quick breather. We'll do one more set, but if you feel comfortable, we are going to try to do a little vertical hop. And I've mentioned it before, I don't want you to do the hop. So don't do the hop if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis, meaning like weakening of the bones, or if you have a lot of arthritis in the back or through the joints that causes pain, then I don't want you doing it. But if you have any of those diagnoses or don't feel comfortable, then just do another set of the toe raises. If you do feel comfortable, then do a little vertical hop. Just squat and explode up off the ground. The goal is just getting a couple inches off the ground, all right? So I squat, I come up, and then I really go back down and do another squat. Again, if you don't feel comfortable or have osteopenia, osteoporosis, or significant arthritis and pain, then just do toe raises. Still can be an effective way of strengthening those calf muscles, and you're trying to explode up. This is explosive movements. And I'll demonstrate the other one again, the hops, all right? So try to go for 30 seconds. If you've already been doing it, take a breather, and then we'll use the last 10 minutes to kind of cool down, do some stretching, and quickly go over the homework. All right. So make sure you have enough time to get through that. I want to see what stretches we'll do. If you're still standing, we'll start with a calf stretch. So if you've had it, because we just worked out our calves. So we'll start with the calf stretch. We'll review the calf stretch as we cool down here. So the calf stretch, as you guys remember, you hold onto a chair or a wall. The leg I'm stretching is behind me. Heel is on the ground, knee is straight, and I lunge or I lean forward into the chair. And you want to feel a gentle pulling down in the calf. So give everyone some time to kind of get into position here. And like we've talked about with stretching, you're holding from 30 to 60 seconds, okay? And so I'm holding this. It's important we're stretching at the end. We want to keep these muscles pliable, all right? So 30 to 60 seconds. Make sure you get at least 30. Once you've gotten 30, you switch the other side. But the key is my foot is straight, my heel is on the ground, my knee is straight as I lean forward. The front leg can bend. The front leg should bend. All right, and we're stretching that out. I'm going to switch sides here. Now my right leg's behind me, my heel is on the ground, my knee is straight, and I'm lunging forward. I'm feeling that gentle pulling. This muscle goes from behind the knee all the way down into the Achilles tendon and attaches to the heel. So you might feel it all the way down, but the bulk of the muscle is the upper third to 2/3 of the back of your leg. All right? Again, get a solid 30 seconds to 60 seconds in, and then we're going to switch sides. We'll switch to our left. All right, heel is on the ground, knee is straight. I lean forward till I feel that pulling, gentle pulling in the back of the calf there. And again, you go at your own pace, but make sure you get 30 to 60 seconds in. So I'm going to hold this side for 20 more seconds, and then I'll switch back to my right side one more time. All right, so I'm going to switch here back to my right. My right foot is forward. My right knee is straight, my heel's on the ground, and I bend my left knee as I lean forward. And again, like I've mentioned, 30 to 60, have the chair, or you can do it against the wall as you stretch out. So I'll let you guys finish that side up. And then when you're ready, we'll get into our chairs to review our hamstring stretch that we've done before. So we'll give everyone a second to kind of get into your chair. I'm going to turn sideways here just so you can see. And to review the hamstring stretch here, I'm sitting at the edge of my chair. I'm going to stretch my left leg first. So my leg is straight, my knee is straight, and I lean forward. My back is straight. Again, like I mentioned before with the squats, the hinge is the hip, or the hip is the hinge, I should say, and you're feeling that gentle pulling on the back side of your top part of your thigh, right in the hamstring. All right? And once you get into a position where you're feeling that pull, you're going to hold for 30 to 60 seconds. We'll do on the left side. Pace yourself, but I've already gone for 20. I'm going to go for another 10, and I'll switch to my left. And then we'll review the quad stretch that you can do sitting or standing. All right, so now I'm sticking my right leg out. My knee is straight. I bend at my hips. My back is straight. My chest is tall. We don't want you leaning over like this. That puts too much stress on those discs in your spine. All right, so keep that neutral, straight spine position and bend forward at the hips. A lot of people have tight hammies, just from spending a little too much time sitting. Sometimes those muscles get tight. Some people get hamstring cramping if you're not drinking enough water. But important to stretch the hamstring out to make sure you got that full knee range so you stand nice and tall. But part of that's also from tight hip flexors. All right, so I want everyone to get at least one time on each side. And then I'm going to review the seated or standing quad stretch. Since I'm already sitting, I'll demonstrate the quad stretch first. So I'm on the edge of my chair. My left leg, I'm reaching back underneath the chair with my leg, and I'm trying to feel a stretch in the front part of my thigh here. Sometimes you can feel it up in the hip flexor. All right, so there's one way to do the quad stretch. I'm sitting, I reach my foot underneath the chair, and I'm trying to get that knee to bend because the quadricep is the front part of the knee. The quadricep muscle straightens the knee, so in order to lengthen the muscle, you bend the knee. It's the opposite of the hamstring. All right, the other way to do it, keep sitting if you want to do it sitting, but other people have seen, the classic quad stretch like this. The only problem with this stretch, sometimes if your muscles are a little tight here, it's hard to reach back and grab your foot. Sometimes, people grab their pant leg. So this is an alternative way to stretch out that muscle. So either way can be effective. You just want to make sure you're feeling a gentle pull in the front part of the thigh. So I'll just demonstrate my right side now. So I'm at the edge of the chair. I reach back my right foot underneath the chair, get that gentle pulling through the front part of the thigh here, and I'm holding for, again, 30 to 60 seconds. So I'll demonstrate this one. And if you want to do it standing, I'll demonstrate that one again. Okay, so let me just show that one in standing again. So in standing, you keep the chest and head up, have something to hold on to as you grab your foot or ankle or here. But I don't expect everyone to be able to do this one, so I wanted to show both stretches. Again, holding 30 to 60 seconds here. But stretching is very important for you guys to keep everything loose, keep our muscle length intact, so we can keep our upright posture and avoid flexing forward, okay? So those are two ways to stretch